A newly released report (PDF) reveals that there are U.S. military contractors in Syria. The report emerged only a week after Donald Trump said America would withdraw from Syria. As international tensions rise, it looks increasingly unlikely that he'll do this. But one of the military contractors which may now be in Syria is owned by the same company which was responsible for the abuse and torture of prisoners at Abu Ghraib following the U.S.-led invasion of Iraq. Timing. The Young Turks Network stated that the report PDF, which compiles data for U.S. contractors operating under authority of the United States Central Command (CENTCOM), listed Syria for the first time since Trump came to office, but it's not clear whether the new data categories reflect Pentagon anticipation of long-term commitment of private U.S. personnel in Syria. The census comes as Trump is publicly contemplating whether to launch missile strikes against Syrian government targets in retaliation for the alleged chemical weapons attacks. Although specific companies are not named, this information had been previously reported in 2016 by the Daily Beast. The contract announcement said 6-3 Intelligence Solutions, a private intelligence company recently acquired by Kachi International, won a $10 million no-bid Army contract to provide intelligence analysis services. According to the Pentagon, the work will be completed over the next year in Germany, Italy and, most notably, Syria. 6-3 Intelligence Solutions was taken over by Kachi International in 2013. Among other things, Kachi provides IT support and services, including information collection and data analysis, to the U.S. intelligence community and the military. In 2003, Kachi was in Iraq because, as its website states, interrogation services were an extension of that work, which Kachi provided in response to a request by the U.S. Army, which did not have sufficient, available personnel for assignment to the Iraqi theater at the onset of the war. In August 2003, Kachi responded to the Army's request for these services by identifying and hiring qualified individuals with previous experience in information gathering and analysis. In 2004, 256 Iraqis sued Kachi because it reportedly directed and participated in torture, war crimes, crimes against humanity, sexual assault, as well as cruel, inhuman and degrading treatment at Abu Ghraib prison. Abu Ghraib and Kachi. Abu Ghraib in Baghdad was a former torture prison of Saddam Hussein. In 2003, allegations emerged of severe maltreatment and abuse of Iraqi prisoners by U.S. military and intelligence personnel and contractors, following the U.S.-led invasion of Iraq. This led to an internal U.S. Army investigation in January 2004, and to the Tagaba report, which concluded that detainee abuse had taken place. Kachi employees, who undertook linguistics and interrogation work at Abu Ghraib, were also accused of having instigated and encouraged the abuse as well as participating in it, and in aiding to cover it up. This sparked international outrage and inflamed a brutal Iraqi insurgency. But Kachi pushed numerous legal challenges to deny these accusations. This was not resolved until 2017, PDF. Until this point, Kachi largely evaded accountability for their direct role in the torture of Abu Ghraib prisoners. Lawyer Catherine Gallagher noted that military officers were court-martialed for their misconduct, but the private contractors, Kachi, walked away with large payments, and they continue to be awarded millions of dollars in government contracts. History repeating. Despite accusations of abuse by Kachi employees, the U.S. government issued multi-million-dollar contracts to the company. As Al Jazeera reported, prior to concluding investigations on the torture scandal at Abu Ghraib, the U.S. government offered Kachi an extension of their contract in the amount of $23 million. Accountability for torture, after all, is limited, conditional, and sometimes rewarded for making bolder the discourse and infrastructure that sustains abuse in the war on terror. And now, 15 years after the U.S.-led invasion of Iraq, history seems to be repeating itself. Trump is baying for military action in Syria, despite lacking concrete evidence. Theresa May is skipping towards war much like Tony Blair trotted after George W. Bush in 2003. But this time, Kachi seems to be in Syria already, despite its apparent involvement in torture and abuse. Get involved. Insist that we don't go to war without evidence. Write to Theresa May and your MP. Support campaign against arms trade. Join the Canary, so we can keep holding the powerful to account. Featured images via Gage Skidmore, Flickr and Peter K. Levy, Flickr.